Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Meta Cafe for your daily astrology, human design, and oracle energy report. Happy Monday! I hope everybody had a great weekend. I don't know what it is about the weekends, but it's 2 days of the week that go by the fastest. Go figure, right? There's days we don't really have to do anything. Well, I don't know. I say that, but yeah. I've got 2 girls with kids that are in sports, and so Saturdays are always filled with sports events, and that means grandma and grandpa get to go play with sports, watching the kids play. Good morning, Michelle. It's good to see you out there, and I hope you had an awesome weekend. I think I see Roseanne out there as well. Good morning, Roseanne. And who's that just popped up? Suzanne. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. Good morning. Good morning. So here we have Monday. So I have a lot to go over with you today. We start the week again, still in our energy of Pisces, being the stellium host of several planets. Good morning, Michelle. The other Michelle. Good to see you. Listening on the go, but here. Good, great. Suzanne, that's awesome. There's Roseanne. Good morning, Roseanne. So this week, again, like we had last week, we have the stellium going on in Pisces. So like this morning, I don't know where in the heck I was. I woke up with a start. It was 6:45, and I thought my husband had gone to work and left me sleeping, which would be a bad thing on a Monday morning. And I walk out of my bed. I'm stumbling around. I can't even really open my eyes yet. The cat's meowing at me because she wants food. And Michelle, you know how that goes at my house. And I got her food, fed her. I promptly knocked the whole of the cat food dish upside down on the floor and made a mess. And I was just stumbling literally through the day. So I'm hoping I sat down and got some grounding, right? And I think really for me, this has probably been the worst of the Pisces stellium, and quite possibly because the moon is moving through Cancer, where I have my natal Mercury and I have my rising sign. And so Cancer energy is prominent. Not only that, it's in my 12th house. The bulk of it sits in my 12th house. So I was probably out in the ether somewhere and just hadn't come back into my body fully before I got out of the bed. And so I sat here for a few minutes this morning trying to make sure my feet were on the ground, that I was fully in my body. So if some of you are experiencing that feeling this morning, it could possibly be because there's a very nice trine going on, ease and flow of energy, right? Just flowing in this nice big triangle from the moon in Cancer to Jupiter in Scorpio, and then from the moon and Jupiter all the way over to Pisces, where we have still the Sun, Chiron, Venus, Mercury, and Neptune, and the echoey feel of the eclipses that were in Pisces from the previous year. Now, I know we don't normally talk about that, but these the eclipses don't happen in a vacuum, right? And then go away and never talk to us again or affect us again. The eclipses are building one upon the other. They're actually a cycle that's called the Saros Cycle that encompasses the whole idea of how these eclipses build on one another and are also moving through a cycle. So even though the Pisces Virgo eclipses were last year, in early 2017 and late 2016, we're still being affected by them. So there may be these little echoes that come through. So interesting that that's happening to us as well. So today the moon is trining Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Neptune, and Chiron alternately throughout the whole day, right? So the moon is in the last several degrees of Cancer, and we'll move on out of Cancer late in the day, and then move on into Leo. So the character of the week is that of water, right? The water energy. And there's something else really interesting going on. Good morning, Katie. I'm waving to you. Hi, Katie. There's something really interesting going on because here we have this emphasis this morning of Cancer energy. Well, the moon in Cancer anchoring a lot of the watery energy, which takes us to intuition, it takes us to introspection, it takes us to the divine feminine. Remember that part. So then I started really looking at what is the week going to bring to us from a human design standpoint. And, you know, me and you guys, we don't really always talk about human design, but I think as the year goes on now, I'm going to try to bring more and more human design out of the dark and into the light here, because I think you can really see, you get an idea of our human evolution when we use human design. When I use astrology, I'm not sure that what you're seeing is our human evolution. I think you're seeing the day-by-day evolution, perhaps, or the day-by-day. Good morning, Petra. It's good to see you out there this morning, too. I think we're seeing the day-by-day evolution in regular astrology, but through human design, we get to see the bigger picture, like what is God in plan for us for the future, right? Where are we evolving to? And nowhere is there a better way to look at that than through the gene keys. The gene keys being Richard Rudd. The book is written in language that's very understandable, but so deep that it's also multi-dimensional. And I have an older version of the book, but if you want to get the book, it's fairly thick, right? It's a fairly thick book, but it is not a book you read from cover to cover. Ask anyone. One of my coaching clients just overwhelmed herself by trying to do that. And I had already told her, don't do it, right? Just don't do it. You can't. It's just a contemplation. It's not something that you read cover to cover. I tried. I couldn't do it even. It just too much in there. So when we look at human design, we see sort of the evolution of through the year, and it's always the same, right? The evolution, the energies, the same weeks of the year are always the same. So this week, last year, the sun was at gate 37 while the earth was at gate 40. But it's a new iteration of what was happening in that gate or in that channel, right? What does that represent to us, and what's the new that we're seeing from it? So let's look at that, because I thought it was rather fascinating. In the gene keys, Richard Rudd calls this gate 37, where the sun is this week, the gate of family alchemy. And in human design, it's really much more about, well, it's the same, but a little bit different. It's more about the friendships that we have and how we create peace and harmony in our relationships, both friendships and family. And it sits on the emotional center. So it is definitely the emotion that we have around our friendships, around our family connections, okay? In human design, in the gene keys, remember, Richard Rudd has everything in gift or in shadow, gift, and siddhi. Siddhi being the highest I don't even know how to say it. The highest expression, let's say, of the energy in the gate, the potential. And then the gift being, very attainable for us. And then the shadow being when we're totally unconscious of the energy, and it's our expression of it in its lowest form. So in its lowest form, this is the gate that brings up weakness, right? In the gift, it is equality. And in the highest expression, it's very mothering energy, very nurturing energy, and it's called tenderness. So this one gate really epitomizes some of the energies that we're feeling right now on the planet. The division of the masculine and the feminine energies, or the inequality of those energies. Suzanne's asked me the name of the book. It's called Gene Keys, Unlocking the Higher Purpose Hidden in Your DNA. However, the current, I got this book back in 2013 or 2014. So the current book is a white cover with, I think it's a dragonfly on the cover. So it doesn't look quite like this. Don't get disturbed. It's the same book, just a different cover. Okay. This was the original. I don't even remember when I got this book. It is, gosh, I can't even see it. It was 2013. That was when the copyright was. So definitely the new book looks different, but it is the same book, right? Just different cover. And the dragonfly has particularly interesting meaning for Richard in the book, in that it is the embodiment of the evolution that humanity is going through in the gate 55, which is the gate of abundance, where we were last week, right? The gate of abundance. So it's interesting that we're bringing all of this up. So let me go back to gate 37, since that's where we are this week. It really distinguishes for us the inequality between the yin and the yang energies on the planet, the masculine and the feminine. And that is something that occurred many thousands of years ago, approximately, see, when I was looking back at my Mayan calendar, that was dawning around 5,000 years ago. And yeah, Roseanne loves gate 55. Gate 55 is a great gate, right? It teaches us all about the fact that we're the embodiment of spirit. And what this gate 37 is really talking about is that we are the embodiment of yin and yang energy in balance. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. It's not about that. It's about the embodiment of both hemispheres of the brain, right? You have two hemispheres of the brain. It's why humanity was selected as the survivors as opposed to Neanderthals, because the division in our brain allowed us to connect creativity with logic and to be able to bridge so many different things, right? The neurons are always firing back and forth across the two hemispheres of your brain. So this particular gate really brings that home, the need for us to balance. And we have been sorely out of balance for many millennia. There were probably really good key lessons that we learned in all of this. The idea of hierarchy, right? And how we categorize things and using the logical mind. All of the scientific discoveries that we have been at the benefit of have really been brought about because of the more I think it's the yang side of the mind, the more masculine side of the mind. Well, interesting too, because 37, the number 37, is the number of Christ energy in gematria, which is Hebrew numerology. And the Christ energy, as it is meant to be, is really about the balance of these two primary energies, the masculine and the feminine. Christ energy has nothing to do with the Christian religion. The Christian religion is something that arose completely separately and really took the ideas of the masculine hierarchy in the design and ran with that, right? But now that we are on the bridge of the age of Aquarius, we are having to really bring more and more and more of the feminine in. And what are we seeing out in the outer world? Right? We're seeing sort of the swing of the pendulum to that other side where the masculine is being brought to task by the feminine energy. But I dare say the women aren't, any of you who are women and think that women power is taking over the planet needs to understand that that's not what's happening. If it does happen that way, then we haven't learned the lesson and we're doomed to go down the same road, only in the more feminine way. And we're meant to learn the balance of these. Good morning, Stephanie. It's good to see you out there. And so learning about the balancing of the masculine and the feminine is what this is all about. It's the synthesis then. Here's the high side. When we're able to really understand this energy, the Christ energy, as opposed to the Christian religion, right? When we can really understand the Christ energy, what it brings us to is a synthesis of family and business and education and government and you name it, right? It takes all the big institutions that we have that are very hierarchical. There's not one of those institutions out there that are distinctly feminine, right? Not one of them. And when we are allowing the Christ energy to come through us and to balance us, then we will see a synthesis of these things. Now, there are some businesses out there already. I'm thinking of, I think it's Google, maybe Amazon. Excuse me. Some of the businesses out there that are already picking up this vibe. Right? The very negative side of this masculine energy really began the demise of the family because it really put women in a position of having to help support the family by going back to work. And what we've seen, and I bet you if our Natasha was out there this morning, what she would tell us, because she works very closely in the school system, what she would tell me, I guarantee it, is that the demise of the family unit. And I'm not advocating that women stay with their husbands. I'm not saying that, because family is whatever we make of it. But it's the demise of the family unit that has really created some trouble for the kids. And it doesn't matter if it's woman, woman, man, 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 woman, single mom, single dad, that doesn't matter. It's the idea of family, right? We come together in the end of the day. We are together in the morning. We support one another, and we are always there for one another. So this energy that is in this week really brings us to that idea of bringing the family back together, and whatever that looks like, right? Families are different, and that's okay. It's not so much that the families look different. It's not that at all. It's that they are together in some way, right? They take care of one another. No matter what, they're taking care of one another. And the problem I see sort of from a governmental standpoint, or maybe just an institutional standpoint, is so many people's hands are tied when it comes to actually helping a family, right? We seem to think right now that taking care of people through welfare or through social safety nets is a weakness. Hello, that's the shadow of this gate, right? There's not weakness when we attempt to support one another in as many ways as we can, whether that's through food, whether that's through shelter, whether that's through clothing, whether that's through getting school supplies for kids, whether that's through any number of ways that we can support one another. There's the part we're missing, right? Because I can sit here and I have no idea what my neighbors might need, right? Chances are there's somebody in need somewhere. And I don't feel called, perhaps, or I don't feel like it's my business to intervene and do anything. And that is the energy that has to shift, right? The idea of tribe was always about taking care of one another. And the concept that a tribe or a community or a family is only as strong as its weakest link, typically the children. Yeah. Natasha, you are out there. Awesome. Natasha's saying, yes, we have a big breakdown in my observation of family. Right, right. And, you know, I'm not bashing people who have a tough time family-wise, because there's very little support out there for families. Really, you know, I think the families that are most in trouble, you see through the kids who are most in trouble in a school, perhaps. And what is there that can help these families, right? They turn to think, I don't know. I don't even want to go there, right? I want to hold the picture here that we can start to serve one another, right? In this Siddhi, the highest expression of this gate, we have tenderness, which empowers true Christ energy, right? The pure embodiment of the balanced yin and yang, right? The feminine and masculine energies in exact balance, the giving and the receiving, right? We've been talking about these polarities a lot over the last couple of weeks, right? It seems like it's right in our face that we are needing to deal with these kinds of polarities. And I'm not saying that we need to jump all the way over to the other side either. We got to come into balance. That's the Gene Keys very clearly talks to us about that. So maybe going back to the idea that families are the lifeblood of our communities, of humanity, and that the breakdown of the family is the first sort of harbinger of the breakdown in society. And I think we're already seeing it. I think we pretty much come to the bottom here. And the only way we start through that is we start to look at our ideas, our concepts of family differently, right? We include others in our family. Family wasn't meant to just be me, my husband, my kids, or, you know, your spouse, your whoever, the mother, the father, the kids. You know, to me personally, and I have gate 37 defined by Mercury in my human design. To me, family has always been about whoever I brought into my family. Right now, every one of you is part of my family. I don't make the distinguishment in blood. Blood isn't what makes family. It's what makes genetics, certainly. But what makes family is how we all love one another, about how we take care of one another, of what we give and receive from one another. That's what true family is all about, right? Some people aren't married and have kids. I mean, some people choose to go through life, singly. So who's their family, right? Well, they make their friends their family. It might be their business people that they have, maybe their extended family, cousins and aunts and uncles. So it's an interesting concept to me that family is who we make family, right? Family is not just blood. So if we think of then our earthly family as being everybody on the planet, then shouldn't we all be helping one another? I don't know. To me, it seems like a no-brainer. But anyway, so that's an energy we're working this week, as well as the opposite energy at gate 40, which we'll go into tomorrow. Gate 40 is, just to give you a peek, is where the earth is sitting, and it's the energy of exhaustion. Resolve is its gift, and divine will is its highest expression. So it's an interesting pairing, these two. They make up the channel of the bargain in human design, where gate 37 in the emotional center meets up with gate 40 in the will center. So it'll be an interesting trip that we get to take down that lane tomorrow. All right, so I've also pulled a card for today, and I'll share that with you in a few moments. But I have a couple of announcements I want to go through. Some of you may have already noticed over the weekend I was testing something called Instant Go. It's an app that I have that is going to allow me to interact with people through Messenger or through, through the Instant Go app, who want readings, who maybe just have a question and they're dying to ask this question, but they don't need to pay for a $100 reading or a $99 reading of any kind. They just have this question, so they can pay by the minute for getting this question answered. So I've launched that minimally over the weekend. I still need to do some work on my end, getting everything set up. But you'll note that that's going to be in some of the marketing that goes out. I'm also in the process, I will be doing that this morning, as a matter of fact, and I'm really excited about this, getting some astrology software program that has the ability to generate reports. So sometimes you want to know what is it that is going to be the energy of your solar return, let's say, but maybe you don't have the money to do a full-on reading, or maybe you don't have the time. So an astrology report, much less expensive. It's already packaged up for you. You put in your birth information and I generate the report and send it to you. Easy peasy, less expensive, but getting you the information instead of having the full reading. So I think that's, and it's more than just that. There's relationship reports. There are natal reports. There are the solar returns. What's the other one I wanted? There's the fourth one. Oh, transits, what's going on from a transit standpoint. So I'll be working with that over the next couple of weeks as well. Also tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. East Coast time, I will be on Angel Heart Radio, which is a blog talk channel. And I'm going to be talking with Annette McCoy about what's coming up in March. And because March is the gateway to spring, we'll be talking about spring. But because their show's also in Australia, we'll be talking about fall for them, spring for us. Thank God I don't want to repeat fall. I'm really ready for spring this year. And especially because we had snow over the weekend, and then it melts and it's just a slushy, muddy mess. And yuck. I'm ready for some sunshine and some flowers. So we'll be taking a look ahead at the spring equinox and what that sets the tone for us as we go into the next 3 months. And again, that's tomorrow at 4 p.m. on Angel Heart Radio. And and I got to tell you guys something. Oh my gosh. So this morning, craziness, because I don't normally see this stuff, but I'm telling you, my morning has just been bizarre. I was sitting here and this was like a minute or two before I went live on air. I'm sitting here and I have my camera on and I'm adjusting it so I'm in the center, and I am looking in the camera and I see an orb, and this orb goes from it would be from my right side. No, it went from my left side to my right side. And it was the craziest thing. It was this golden little orb just transiting right through my room. I don't know if it was a piece of dust, it was highlighted by the light, or if there was a being with me, but I got goosebumps. So I wanted to share that with you all this morning too, because that was new. I never see those things. I just never see them. Maybe just because I know they're there, I don't see them, but this morning I saw them. Really fascinating. Okay, so the card I pulled today, which I think is her Roseanne and her orbs of hearts. I like that. So the card that I'm pulling today I asked for a card that would be something that we could look back to for the whole week. That would represent the whole week, not just today. So you'll never believe what card I got. It's a new one. We haven't seen this one yet, but it's happy, happy. Oops, happy, happy. Happy, happy. Doesn't she look like she's having some fun, right? She's standing on a lock that a key is going to be needed to unlock happiness, perhaps. And there are balloons, and she's very gorgeous. This is all done in that. It's, I know my light here is really weird, but that's like a green, teal, blue color. And it's a really gorgeous card. There's birds and confetti sort of in the details of this card. So, and this again is from the deck Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed, right? And it's a beautiful deck. I talk about it all the time. This is essential meanings of this card. Best news for the whole week. Joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. And the Oracle's message says your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing, able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Important here, your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. Wonderful card for the week. And we'll see if I come up with any other cards during the week, because this is going to be an interesting week this week with all these Pisces energies. Maybe we'll have card readings. Maybe, who knows, we'll have something else going on. Quick reminder, tomorrow is Tuesday, mini reading day. So we will resort to the Zoom platform tomorrow. I will send that link out in a little bit here. And anybody who wants a reading, I know you, Katie, wanted a reading, so I've already got that set up for you. And this will be your opportunity to come live on air with me and look at your chart and see what's going on. I'm thinking 3 at most. So I've already got one. I have 2 more for people, or space for 2 more to take a look at your charts. And let's see, there was something else I was thinking about that I wanted to tell you. Maybe that's it. Looking ahead at the spring. Oh, no. Later today, maybe not until tomorrow, I am going to be putting up a blog post, which somehow automatically ends up on this page. So be looking for that. I wrote down 3 or 4 different prayers that came from The Secret of Prayer yesterday. And I'm going to post those for people because I found them to be beautiful and right up the alley of some of the things that we're trying to create. And so I will be doing that later for you. And of course, they're not prayers that I've written. I just want you to know I'm posting them from The Secret of Prayer, and I will make sure that I let you know who it was that prayer came from. And because I was so taken with them, right? I just felt like, wow, these are really beautiful prayers or intentions, whatever you want to call them. So that's a lot for Monday. Woohoo! I'm excited. This is going to be a great week. We have happy, happy, happy. And oh, Petra says she has to work tomorrow, so she can't be online. Well, Petra, maybe there's something else we can do for you. And anybody else wants to fill in for Petra, I still have the 2 places then. So that have a question ready or something that's bothering you that you want me to take a look at. In the meantime, I love you all. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Bye for now.